The Voxstar delegation materialized aboard the Meridian Dawn, their crystalline forms refracting the sterile light of the diplomatic chamber. Danny Chen, Earth's youngest ambassador at 26, stood beside her military attaché, Jasper Webb, watching as the alien representatives arranged themselves in a semicircle. "They're beautiful," Danny whispered, adjusting her neural interface. "They're dangerous," Jasper replied, his hand resting near his sidearm. "Intelligence says they've annexed 17 systems in the past decade." The lead Voxstar pulsed with amber light, its telepathic voice resonating in their minds. "Humans, your species has been selected for integration into the Voxstar collective. Resistance is ... inadvisable." Danny stepped forward, her diplomatic training kicking in. "The people of Earth appreciate your offer, but we must respectfully decline. We value our independence." The chamber filled with what could only be described as crystalline laughter. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. Your primitive fusion drives, your fractured governments, your brief existence, you are children playing with fire. We have existed for 3 million of your years. We have seen species rise and fall like waves upon a shore." Jasper's jaw tightened. "We've heard this speech before. From the Krellians, from the Zephyr Empire. They all thought Earth was easy prey. And where are they now?" Danny added quietly. The Voxstar dimmed, intrigued. "Elaborate." Danny activated the holographic display. "Let me tell you a story. 50 years ago, the Krellians came to Earth with the same offer. We were just beginning to colonize Mars. They had quantum drives and planet. By every measurable metric, we should have been swept aside." The hologram showed humanity's created homeworld during the Krellian invasion, cities burning, orbital platforms destroyed. But then the tide turned. "We didn't fight them ship to ship," Jasper explained. "We couldn't, so we changed the rules. Guerrilla warfare in space. Cyber attacks that turned their AI against them. We weaponized our own asteroids, our satellites, even our orbital debris. Desperation tactics." The Voxstar dismissed. "Innovation," Danny corrected. "Within 18 months, we'd reverse-engineered their technology and improved it. Within 3 years, we'd driven them from Sol System. Within 5, we'd dismantled their empire." The Voxstar flickered, uncertain. "You speak of one victory. We have conquered thousands." "The Zephyr Empire thought the same thing," Jasper interrupted, pulling up another file. 20 years ago, they were telepaths like you. They thought they could dominate human minds, turn us into slaves." Danny's expression hardened at the memory. They didn't understand human neurodiversity. What works on 90% of people doesn't work on everyone, and the 10% who were immune, we became their nightmare. We hunted their mind readers across a dozen worlds. Stories, propaganda, documented fact, Danny countered, verified by the Galactic Archives. "But you're right to be skeptical. So let me tell you about the silence." The room seemed to grow colder. Even the Voxstar stilled. "You know of it," Jasper observed, watching their reaction. "Of course you do. Everyone in this galaxy does." The silence, the ancient intelligence that had existed since before the first stars formed. It had watched civilizations bloom and wither for eons, never interfering, never communicating until 30 years ago, when it spoke for the first and only time. Danny's voice grew quiet, reverent. "The Dravix Coalition decided Earth needed to be ... eliminated. They saw us as a threat to galactic stability. Too aggressive, too unpredictable, too dangerous. They assembled a fleet of 10,000 vessels, dreadnoughts that could shatter moons, weapons that could ignite stars." The hologram showed the massive armada approaching Sol System, a tide of destruction that should have been unstoppable. "We prepared to fight," Jasper said. "Every human, every colony, every ship. We were going to make them pay for every inch of space. But then ... The silence spoke. Danny activated the audio file, the only recording of the ancient being's voice. It resonated through the chamber, a sound that seemed to come from the fabric of reality itself. "Never challenge Earth's power." For words that had stopped the Dravix fleet in their tracks. "Why?" the Voxstar demanded. "Why would the silence protect you?" "It didn't protect us," Danny explained. "It warned them." The silence had been watching humanity since we first looked up at the stars. It had seen us survive ice ages, plagues, world wars. It had seen us split the atom, decode life itself, reach beyond our world with nothing but chemical rockets and mathematics. Jasper pulled up the final files. "The Dravix didn't listen. They attacked anyway. What happened next? ... The silence didn't intervene. It just watched as humanity showed exactly why it had issued its warning. The hologram displayed the aftermath. The Dravix Coalition fleet scattered, destroyed not by superior technology, but by tactics they couldn't predict. by humans who fought with a ferocity born of defending their home, by strategies that broke every rule of conventional warfare. We lost 1 billion people in that war, Danny said softly. Mars was bombed back to bedrock, the orbital habitats were destroyed, but the Dravix coalition lost everything. Their entire civilization collapsed within a decade. You would sacrifice so much, just to remain free. Every time, Jasper answered without hesitation. Danny stepped closer to the Voxstar delegation. The silence understood something that you haven't yet grasped. Humanity doesn't win because we're stronger or smarter or more advanced. We win because we absolutely refuse to lose. We adapt, we improvise, we turn our weaknesses into weapons, and we never, ever stop fighting. The Voxstar pulsed with colors that shifted through the calculation, perhaps even respect. The silence spoke only once. Their leader finally transmitted, and in 3 million years, we have never heard it break its eternal vigil for any species. Perhaps there is wisdom in heeding its words. Danny extended her hand, a human gesture of peace. Then let us speak not of integration, but of cooperation, not of dominance, but of mutual respect. The Voxstar-S form shifted, and something that might have been a hand touched Danny's. Perhaps there is another way. Perhaps ... We have much to learn from Earth after all. As the delegation departed, Jasper let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. Think they'll actually leave us alone? Danny watched the crystalline beings dissolve into light. The silence spoke once. That's all it took. Everyone who's ignored that warning has learned the hard way. And if someone tries again, she smiled, tired but determined, then we'll remind them why the oldest being in the universe chose to break its silence for humanity. Outside the viewport, Earth turned slowly, blue and green and beautiful, a small planet that had somehow become the one world in the galaxy that even ancient powers feared to challenge.